idea from there. Team 12, that was their first game that they lost in all of HGC so far 2018. So in losing, they choose Battleground pick. They are picking Battlefield of Eternity.
Battlefield of Eternity, where you cannot avoid a team fight. Probably see some high priority on Hanzo and Genji one more time. I did like that we saw the W build, especially when it comes to those shrines, the way that the synergy between the lurking arm kind of traps people within that little bubble around the shrine, and then scatter arrow just kind of ping-pongs off a little bit of everything until you finally get hit. So it's really easy, I think, to get the value out of that. Then, of course, going into that build, we've seen a wide variety of builds. We'll see if it makes it through here on BOE and what else might come from these builds.
I was just really amazed by Tempo Storm and their ability to even put Team 12 into the position where they had to fight in that center area. It was all or nothing. They needed to win that fight. They started that fight panicked. Because of that, a lot of abilities came out earlier on. Twice, massive shove, pushed ETC way back. He was low in health, had to get the Divine Shield. Just felt like Tempo Storm had just so much control through that game, even with the laning setup when we were questioning how that would work for them. Very excited to see where the series goes after that first pick, or after that first game. Tempo Storm banning ETC.
If Team 12 is afraid of one of the Shimada brothers, I'd like to see them not ban one, let through the other, and then pick up one of your own. I mean, Genji, I think, is a much safer ban than Hanzo. Genji is incredibly powerful. If you were to let through one, I would say you'd let through the Hanzo, but we'll see if Team 12 wants to let through both of them and then deal with the potential consequences. I feel like Genji does do well against his brother, Hanzo, just because the way Hanzo is built and the way Genji works. Hanzo is a little bit susceptible to dive. Genji is just Genji.
Although Team 12 haven't picked either of the Shimano brothers, they didn't versus LFM either, I think it's very likely to assume that they play them. I mean, we know that both Dainsky and Kira can play Genji.
Yeah.
So it's not a far stretch, especially with how much Hanzo is in the meta, that it'd be the same. They're going to ban Hanzo, though, from Tempo Storm. Tempo does seem to really like that hero.
And with Genji being let through, you do have the potential Dragon Blade, but then therefore Lucio might make his way through. There's a lot of support counters to try and deal with the Dragon Blade Genji coming in. Uther, of course, I don't know if we'll see much Uther on this map, but there are counters towards Genji. It's just a matter of, are those counters frequent enough for you to deal with the potential consequences? We actually saw last week in one of our series, there were some staggered deaths. The heroics would overlap each other, and then we would see the re-engage. And they're willing to commit to a first pick Genji. I like that call a lot.
How much of a concern is Malthael for Team 12? Goku didn't play it last weekend, but can play it. They get Tyrael. Li Ming, very high Tyrael.
Yeah, no Greymane who is going to be there. We might see the Greymane with the Tyrael, but the fact that Tyrael is first pick does make it, I mean, I've said this for a long time. Justine, going back 2 years of competitive experience for him, was one of the rare Tyrael players that we had in North America, and it's still not as popular as we would see in others. Obviously, we've got rework Tyrael coming up soon, but he's one of those players that would play it and play it effectively to where you would never really question it. So, but to have it this high priority does give them a safety net.
Right.
Against the Genji.
Yeah, if they're not feeling playing Lucio, then at least having Sanctification is sort of the same thing. Helps you get through a Dragon Blade with those 3 seconds of invulnerability. But it is something that can be abused. Even on this map, Korea last year was playing a lot of Stukov because once he throws out his Aldruin, showing where you would like to be taking the fight and wanting to put the Sanctification there, you just drop Lurking Arm, and then if you can't drop Sanctification, he'll just flat out die. But Tempo Storm want to have Uther because they also want to have Greymane. Both of them benefit a lot from a Divine Shield.
Just a little bit, just a little bit. So that is a tough counter. And when we look at potential counter options toward Uther, Lunara comes to mind. We haven't seen Lunara yet. It's been a long time since we've seen Lunara. But getting some type of spread damage generally works well against Uther. But when you see Genji and Greymane on the other side, you're like, I probably don't want anything to do with that. So it makes it a very hard decision on who do you want to try and have counter that? Who can you try and get the lockdown from? Remember, outside of Judgment, which We saw in a game right before in EU. We've seen it over in Korea. It's not that popular. Tyrael doesn't have the hard CC, that lockdown potential that you generally would like against a Genji style. So Uther is one of those few hard CC supports. So it'll be interesting what Team 12 comes up with on the back end of their draft. Because I feel like if you don't have hard CC, as we see the Abathur ban, if you don't have the hard CC, it really feels like when you initiate and things like that, you're pretty much all in every time because it's hard to counter. It's hard to counter, like if you're a counter puncher, right? All right, well, if we don't really have the tools to counter that, our only defense is a good offense. So I think that's a lot of times where solo Tyraels without the CC really lie for me.
Tim4 now looking at a Malthael ban. Tempo Storm themselves seem to put a lot of faith in Malthael. They have a lot of picks from him. They were one of the highest picking teams for him last year too, when he was around. So in this case, wanting to ban, Reaper's Mark can slowly tick down on the Immortal. Having Fear the Reaper also provides a lot of fast rotations between solo laning into the Immortal fight too. And in only having Uther, it can be a little bit scary trying to make sure that you're keeping up with the heals if everyone's grouped together and Tormented Souls hits a lot of people.
You think there's a potential, since solo lane isn't necessarily as high priority on this map, that we might see another Zeratul?
For Tempo?
Yeah.
That is aggressive.
It's super aggressive.
But that's how Tempo's playing.
Yeah, last week, Gilly, in the 4 games that were played, obviously it's still early, saw him average 4 kills per game, which was tops in North America.
Exactly.
Normally they're Genji player, and the way that we see him play is known to be very aggressive. The Hanzo play that he made on Volskaya over that middle keep wall was, I mean, it's flashy, it's risky, but it's plays that him and his team can pull off. Genji kind of fits a lot of the same style, so I think that we're going to see continued play. We got to talk a lot about Glaurung last game, maybe saw him this game.
I don't hate it. Let's see what Team 12 wants to deal with that. They'll get Arthas. Slow things down in the fight. Karzim giving some physical armor to deal with the Greymane. And he also can go in as a way of trying to finish off kills. Like to see that they're not just relying on the Tyrael too. They're going to add in, have a second warrior. Tyrael and Arthas.
That is an incredible amount of sustain. Li Ming has Force Armor at level 1, so long as you're hitting your Q shots. Tyrael has his shield, Sanctification. You've got Divine Palm potential. You've got great AoE heals. Arthas has incredible self-sustain. Icebound Fortitude at 7, plus his army. Unless we see a big lead, potential Syndragosa. That's generally the only time we see that. So they have a lot of sustain to deal with the potential damage output on the side of Tempo Storm. So they still need a tank. We already saw they can do a lot of things with their solo laner, so Tempo's got a few things here to round this draft out.
Still, if Tempo Storm is as concerted as they were in the last game with team fights, Buds only has a single palm. So they gotta make something happen when that palm goes off to turn the tide of the battle. Final 2 picks, Leoric, this time picked up by Tempo Storm and Muradin, providing the beefy front line ahead of the Greymane Genji potential double reset combination. Final pick for Team 12, waiting on Buds. Nope, we've got Buds as hero, Karzim.
It's either Cure or Dansky at this point to try and round that out. I feel like a sustain poke style hero against the diving potential of like a Genji. It's kind of like if you're dealing with a Tracer, it's nice. He has deflect, so if you can have that poke style the minute that's not there, you don't hit him with the burst damage. But I mean, there's a outside potential. We might see double support here. But with Li Ming being the sole damage dealer, I feel like they really need some more sustained damage. It's just, who do you feel comfortable with against a high diving composition here from Tempo Storm?
Are we going to see another Tychus?
It would be the most logical pick. He doesn't have tremendous race, but he does fit really well into this map and against that comp.
Yeah, Siege, anti-Siege would help a lot with that too.
We do get
The
Lunara.
hunt is on!
Wow. Lunara is incredibly strong against an Uther.
Solo Uther? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's Splintered Spirit level 7. You get that spread damage, and Uther has to prioritize his targets. And looking at the composition, they do have a lot of melee, so he does get good value out of the Wave of Light, so he can hit multiple targets. But it's never really been keen to be enough. Post 13, Lunara is a lot safer. She has a lot of really good level 13 options. I think Greater Spell Shield is one of the big ones, but we could also see more offensive oriented to do more damage and to really punish that solo Uther. So level 13, the talent pickup in particular will be something I look for. And I really think that with the Divine Palm, Li Ming has the spell armor. You've got the Sanctification, the shields from Tyrael. Lunara, a little less risky, but still against this composition could get punished.
Might be hard to give up unfair advantage at 13, considering that you are paired with an Arthas who provides just so many stuns for so long. And having the speed boost from Smite and Tyrael should put Arthas in a better position to take advantage of that. But Greater Spell Shield might be the difference between life or death when you look at that Genji trying to dive in on top of you. And we have to consider heroic abilities for Lunara too, considering that. But let's get in the game first. We can talk all about the first Lunara pick of North American HGC. We'll see you on Battlefield of Eternity. Arena of Death. Is that what you called it?
Arena of Death.
Arena of Death.
I mean, there's no escaping. That's like the biggest thing. I mean, if you want to have that, hey, let's go 5v5 mid at the beginning of every game, it's just, it's a little bit staggered here on BOE. You get 5v5 just a few minutes into the game.
Well, let's discuss this Lunara. He's going to be played by Kier. Lunara's been played a little bit in Europe, especially since we have seen this return a lot more of solo support. And her constant poisons are very difficult for Uther's long cooldowns. He's a big burst heal, but he has those longer cooldowns, trying to keep up with that. He didn't take Wave of Light, so you're not going to have the cooldown reduction for his Holy Radiance, but he's still going to be trying to keep up with Lunara, and she gets just stronger and stronger with those poisons the later the game goes. Also has a talent that sometimes you see on this map particularly, and that is Nature's Culling, having the extra damage from her Nature's Toxin to damage non-heroes, but you have to give up Splintered Spear, and that is really where she's so good versus an Uther.
Yeah, and we talk about the lack of heals for Uther, Gilly. The two talent pickups for the Warriors on Tempo Storm. Self-heal there on Osign Renewal for Leoric, and then Third Wind for Murden to really understand that, hey, that Lunara pick could cause us a lot of issues. So a good counter in terms of talent pickups, allow your damage to kind of really carry you and just survive on the front line. So I like the talent pickups for Tempo Storm to try and mitigate some of that from Lunara and the rest of Team 12.
Looking at her heroic abilities, there's Leaping Strike. If she feels like she's going to get dove on, have a bad time, can use that as a way of being able to allow her to jump to a better position. Also has an 80% slow briefly as just another way of being safe, has a couple charges of that. Or Thornwood Vine, this very long-range poison applicator. That plus the Splintered Spear is a good way of making sure that you're just putting poison on everyone. Do you have a preference of what heroic ability she should pick here?
I do, and it goes towards the Leaping Strike. Having that mobility, the point that you made about having that if you get dove upon, it gives you a little bit of a safe zone. You can kind of counter Genji if he tries to get away, get that soul on him, allow your team to capitalize it. You can set up different opportunities, plus keep yourself a little bit safer, and it also makes your 13 talent tier a little bit safer to go away from Greater Spell Shield if you think that that mobility can help you. It's something that I've seen pro players do in particular to say, hey, look, we don't have this available, we're gonna go Leaping Strike, and I have that 13 tier advantage now, so I think that's gonna be the pickup.
All right, we're 2 minutes in this Battlefield of Eternity game. Team 12 getting an edge in their lane push, also being able to get the Mercenary camp at the bottom, having the Arthas and Li Ming up in the top lane. Tempo Storm just gonna try to work on making sure that they are getting their Shaman as a way of counter pushing and having that through the start, at least, of the first Immortal phase, which will be happening in just about 30 seconds.
I got a feeling at the end of this game, Cure's numbers are going to look incredibly high in terms of damage output. It's just a matter of, is it going to be effective? And when you whittle them down, can Li Ming finish the kills and along with the rest of the team?
Right. Execution is key when you have these poison heroes. But it's not just Li Ming, who will be looking to see if Dansky can combo and get those critical mass resets. You also have Tyrael up in front. You've got Arthas who will be trying to flank in, and Kharazim. Kharazim can be a pretty good finisher too, trying to dive in. But he'll want to be watching out, making sure that he doesn't get stun locked in the process.
Iron Fist. We'll see how effective that will be. Right now, defensive position here for Team 12, just kind of feeling it out, but they have a push, a heavy push in the bottom lane, so they're going to counter in the top. When you have Greymane involved with a camp, I think the Greymane team will win out, but we've got 4 members here for Team 12. We've got ourselves a little bit of a race.
And just a avoiding the Immortals so far. Tempo Storm starting to work on the fort. Team 12 stepping forward to do the same. No kills yet. Team 12 are keeping up in this fort push. Both teams doing their best to keep soaking without getting caught at the same time. How far does this go? Tempo Storm keeping this up. It's a game of chicken, Jay.
I was going to ask you the same question. How far do you take this? It looks like Team 12 was the first to flinch. They got done. They're going to let the camp finish off everything else. Look for their engage down here. They're going to try and put some damage on.
Plow into the Wraith Walk. Really nice as the Howling Blast was coming in. Being the last to leave, it's the benefit of having Leoric. Team starting to transition to the Immortals, but the game has been escalated quite a bit in the experience thanks to that fort rush.
Level 7 is a big power spike for Lunara against this team. Right now, the level 7 talent tier advantage is in favor of Tempo. We'll see if Arthas can help soak up the rest of that as his team holds defensively for the moment.
Now, June is contemplating Guardian of Ancient Kings or Hand of Protection. There is some stun lock to be considered of. I mean, you've got the stuns of the Immortals, if you can try to combo around there, and then the Howling Blast of Arthas. There's also the possibility of Judgment, and we may see June hold all the way to 10 to see if Judgment is picked, and otherwise go for Guardian of Ancient Kings just as a way of trying to make sure that Uther is keeping up with the Lunara poison damage.
Well, speaking of Lunara poison damage, Fan under assault there, but Cattle get in on the backside. He also has Skullcracker. Psalm has come in on Genji. He's taking a lot of damage. The damage output from Team 12 is really keeping Tempo at bay.
Yeah, now Glaurung's under fire. Cattle trying to see if he can draw the ire, make Team 12 focus on him instead, but it is not the case. Team 12 take out Glaurung, and that'll be first blood.
That damage is nasty. Cure is just peppering everybody. And the minute they commit to one, and speaking of committing, Psalm going in, trying to commit to the kill, but there's the reset, and all of a sudden, Dansky, he's looking to go off here. That's 2 kills, and they instantly get the blow up. Now they're going to turn for the race onto the Immortal.
Perfect focus from Goku and friends as Psalm wanted to go in. Shows you that protection can be really tricky versus Poison 2 from here. It's not a guarantee for Psalm. He pays for it dearly with his life. The Immortal, it is about 3/4 health. First Immortal is Team 12's.
Feels bad that that gray bar disappears, and you're like, why is half my health bar brownish greenish? What color is that anyways?
I think it's brownish greenish.
We'll just call it poison color. Either way, we've got a pretty heavy shield here for Team Immortal. They took the last team fight. They're going to try and clear up some minions from that lane that was pushed out by Tempo Storm. They're going to see how much they can get off of this as the wall is already down. I think Fort is probably where we're going to stand in terms of max capacity unless Tempo tries to take the fight behind here.
Yeah, Tempo needs to do that if they're going to, because Team 12 are inching toward heroic abilities. Glaurung looked for the flank, but Team 12 backed off enough to make sure that they couldn't get anything. We're going to see them go again. The Storm Bolt. Psalm trying to go into. Cure is the focus. Do they get him? Howling Blast catches so many. Cure will stalk away again, but it's not for nothing as Tempo Storm take out Arthas.
That's exactly what you can expect. Fan actually had a really good engagement. If that was go for the throat post 10, that's a dead Lunara and possibly more for Tempo Storm. Instead, they settle with just the Arthas kill, which was still a very good pickup for them. However, as you said, Team 12, who was approaching level 10, now have their heroics.
Yeah, Lunara is squishy, and that is one reason we started to see her fall off. Not only the double support, but Genji, the high mobility heroes. Let's go for the throat. It's hard to keep her alive. She picked up Leaping Strike, though, as Jay Howe predicted. Hopefully that will be enough to keep her alive. There's also Divine Palm as another option. And then both of the warriors, we saw them pick the sustainable talents for them. So nothing different for Team 12.
I think it's a little bit surprising. There's a lot of mobility. I mean, 4 of the 5 heroes for Team 12 all have killer mobility, but wait a minute, we've got a fight here breaking out. Psalm and June on the bottom right, they're going in. Dragon Blade's going to be there for the Sanctification to potentially go down, but the D shield is needed as Psalm gets obliterated there.
Yeah, the backline turned on him in an instant. Has a lot of damage to take care of him, but Tempo Storm are trying to do the exact same thing they did before. In the moments where they push back the backline of Team 12, hope that they can focus on Goku. Having Army of Dead, though, wasn't quite as easy of a target as it was last time. Tempo Storm having that double camp pushes back Team 12 in the bottom. Getting the fort in the bottom, it was nice for them in making sure that they could keep up with the fort trade of Team 12 at the top. But now Tempo Storm is down and out on both of their forts. So it's important that if they're going to start getting the Immortals, now is the time.
now's the time, and camps being staggered here actually really good for Team 12. That's why you see Tempo being so aggressive. They're potentially going to come in and look for an invade. Having this push during an objective phase prior to the gameplay reworks was one of the strongest things you can do. Now with the timing changes of the Immortal, you can see it staggered a little bit in favor of Team 12. That will push, but right now, wow, Dansky just obliterated Glaurung's health bar.
And Wraith walking away. Caterpillar's Dwarf toss out too. Tough times for Tempo Storm dealing with that poison. But if they can get the setup, and you see how they are trying to set up around, looking for the flank, seeing if they can get those backliners, but it's not gonna happen. Team 12 engaged before that, taking out Uther, hoping they can get Cattle. He has his avatar, so he's going to be fine. Tempo Storm tried to re-engage in this. They've got Justine, who has to go around the wall, but he hasn't even had to burn Sanctification. Team 12 haven't had to use Palm yet.
Shoutouts to Goku and the team coordination on Team 12. Goku, and you see him in that bush now, that's exactly where he was hiding before, and then he came in the flank position, was able to land the root, and that really helped Team 12 get that follow-up kill. The communication, Dansky held his abilities, got a full combo off onto June. It worked out really well for them, and because of the position of the Immortals, Tempo Storm was still able to race this because the only person down was their support. Right now it's about 50-50.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that Team 12 would give that with still having the Greymane up, but in that instance, they wanted to be able to go back, maybe get the healing back up as they could, and then look for the next fight. But Tempo Storm, even in losing their Uther, still are ahead in experience. This is anyone's fight. And now Dragon Blade's up.
Psalm and Glaurung have some of the most aggressive positioning. Fan, the cleanse is forced out there. There's the double lockdown. Divine Shield forced to be used. Justin and team coming in, Gilly.
Fan trying to escape if he can, but gets hit by that slow, by the poison. Greymane falls. This is Entomb on the backline from Glaurung, holding in Goku and Cure, but Genji gets assassinated for a second kill of Team 12.
They got the kill. I think Bud's out-juked himself there. He went back. He's like, I'll help you finish the Leoric, and Leoric Wraith walks away. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not in jump potential anymore. Either way, they get the team fight taken in their favor. They're going to get 2 members down, and they get a really good race onto the Immortal. This is Immortal number 2 pushing for them.
Man, Tempo Storm are just having a really tough time trying to figure out how to get in on one of those targets and blow them up fast, and that's what has worked for Tempo Storm for pretty much all until this point, is assassinating someone with their synergy. The problem is Team 12 are doing a great job of making sure that they stay safe. They have those 2 durable frontliners who can, especially with Sanctification, keep the others alive, and then having the mobility on the rest of the team is proving to be a tough task for Tempo Storm.
Tough task so far. We're going to see the sieging and anti-sieging potential of both these teams come out here. The root just missed there onto Cattle. Cattle surviving. Psalm looking to try and make plays on the back. Cure using that leaping strike to get to safety. Good play by him.
Also puts a slow. Cleanse will even be used on Psalm after he gets hit by the Howling Blast. He puts a slow on the Psalm, which keeps him from doing something unsavory for Team 12 at least. The front wall's been down. Tempo Storm has Cattle jump forward, seeing if he can catch them with the Storm Bolt before Team 12 leave, but Team 12 very smart in understanding when they need to retreat. Totally fine just getting that front wall and walking away.
Yeah, I think that was a moment where Team 12, they recognized, wait a minute, we might be a little bit in over our heads. Tyrael ended up rotating up to potentially join that fight. He's still just kind of anchoring there while his team gets a camp, making sure that there's protection. Tempo Storm, on the other hand, going down to get a camp of their own. And with that keep exposed, they're going to be kept honest there. Leo's going to be at the bottom. The rest of them are going to hurt. And now this keep is being threatened.
Threatened in a big way. Tempo Storm gets back, shows a couple there. But the rest were rotating fairly slowly. Maybe could have been more damage there. But Team 12 very hesitant to get caught at this crucial moment. Tempo Storm have done such a great job, even though it's 6 kills to 1, just making sure that they keep up in experience so they get more opportunities to fight.
Glaurung, you know, again, that Glaurung, that play alone kept Team 12 honest. It kept the keep alive. Both team recognizing that both of them had kill potential on the keep. Both of them retreated, and we've got a pretty neutral and even game up to this point outside of 1 fort standing for Team 12.
Now I'm wondering where the change comes in for Tempo Storm. Is it a specific talent tier advantage? Because, you know, we talked about Lunara continuing to ramp up more and more. with that poison damage, which is already causing a lot of issues for Tempo Storm. Is it just a matter of making sure they have the right flanks so that they can assassinate someone in time? Is it keeping Tyrael away so he can't save someone? What do you think, J-Hop?
It goes back, I mean, last summer at Midseason Brawl, Fan brought to us the burden of execution and how important that is. In Tempo Storm, we've seen the aggressive flank positionings between Psalm and Glaurung there, between Genji and Leoric, and they've really come in with heavy flanks, but they've had a hard time getting on that. The sustain in the draft for Team 12 has really been the key component to keeping them alive and thwarting off a lot of that. And we've got a huge Howling Blast.
Oh, that Howling Blast is going to be setting up for a lot of resets potentially, as the Sanctification and Divine Shield both use Fan in so much danger as Bud's adjusting charge forward. That's one reset. Avatar used, but it's June and Cattle, and they are still both so low as the Leaping Strike goes in. Cure body blocking the Murd, and that's another reset. 3 kills, even just as Genji respawn. It's just Genji and Leoric left as Team 12 looks toward this keep.
There's 3 people down, and this keep is super low. I think they're going to try and move in. You see the sword on Eldruin's Might already going out. Justin dives back. I think they're just going to take the keep and go with it. 20 seconds. They don't have incredible sieging potential. Li Ming's okay, but she doesn't have a ton that she can contribute with low mana. But this is it. This is where we talk about the counter engage that works so well.
Yeah, it was such a good Howling Blast. Even as Glaurung was hoping that he could get the Entomb to somehow help his team, allow them to escape. Getting that much damage at the beginning, setting up for the resets, just set the tail very nicely for Team 12 down to get the rest of the Immortal. They had 16 from that, they took a keep, and they're looking at taking the other keep from Tempo Storm with this Immortal.
It's a major power play. Major power play when you have both keeps down. Don't tell that to Team Dignitas, though. That's how they thrive. Last year, it's like, look, we're going to lose both keeps, still win the game. So it's up to Tempo Storm. They're going to try and clear this top lane, make sure that they have 16 before. But I think a keep is what Team 12 needs. But Gilly, I think this is the part where Tempo Storm is going to try and do that. Once he clears top, look for Leoric to potentially rotate down. You already see the aggressive positioning for Grayman. They're going to attempt to dive behind the Immortal and try and take a team fight here to turn this game around.
Yeah, Tempo Storm don't want to play this game, play Battlefield of Eternity without both keeps. They're looking for that flank, the Hail Mary approach, if you will, as Genji comes down, Murden setting up, starting to get the focus. The focus is Dansky, Fan is in there, Sanctification as Dansky dives back forward, another turning on Fan, and they take him down.
They take him down, Dragon Blade is out, and there he's got the damage, but there's Dansky on the backside. Psalm, can he get the takedown? Dansky somehow surviving, gets the reset, and all of a sudden Dansky is popping off. That is 3 members down. June's gonna go down next, Murden's gonna run away, and that's gonna be GG as Team 12 kicks off another team fight with nothing but counter engage and then absolutely blowing up Fan on Grayman.
You can't kill Dansky. So epic. Freaking amazing. Dansky finally takes out Fan. He goes back in. He gets another out of the Entomb. He made some plays.
Just a few. The Entomb was there and saw him. If he gets that kill, that fight looks a lot different, but it was a desperation play. He had one last dash. You get that, and that's a lot different because he gets a reset of his own. Didn't go through, and then the reset came through on Dansky's side. He's like, let me show you how it's done real quick. Let's make it 1-1 here in this series.
That was such an awesome game. Team 12 brings it back, so we are 1-1 in the series. Team 12 giving up first pick so that they could go to Battlefield of Eternity. We know that that has been a favorite of Team 12's. It was all of last year too. So going to comfort territory, going to home turf to take out Tempo Storm.
Yeah, home turf and an amazing draft. We wondered if the Tyrael pick would be good. They basically showed a lot of their drafted Tempo Storm with the Greymane and Genji first. They're like, well, what if we just counter a lot of that? And they did. And the Lunara pick was a phenomenal pickup in the sense that it countered Uther. The way that it was played was really good. Leaping Strike plus that greater spell shield really kept him alive. And Kira made a lot of plays. We've been saying a lot of Dansky, but Kira made a lot of plays there. Again, I want to see the stats on the end of that game. It's hidden right now. But I guarantee you Kira is like, he's flexing a little bit on that stat meter there.
I feel like every single person from Team 12 had moments of just pure glory. Amazing play. Goku, the 3-man Howling Blast.
Not bad.
Started off the second to the end fight. That was very good for them. Justing too. His Tyrael, the Sanctifications were really good. That last one was insane. Dansky kept him alive through that. So everybody played really well. Buds was helping get resets. It was a good time. And we've got more good times to come. We're going to a commercial break. After the break, Game 3 between Tempo Storm and Team 12. Stay tuned. Hail Mary approach, if you will, as Genji comes down. Murden setting up, starting to get the focus. The focus is Dansky. Fan is in there. Sanctification is Dansky. Dives back forward. Another turning on Fan, and they take him down.
They take him down. Dragon Blade is out, and there he's got the damage. But there's Dansky on the backside. Saw him. Can he get the takedown? Dansky somehow surviving. Gets the reset, and all of a sudden Dansky is popping off. That is 3 members down. June's going to go down next. Murden's going to run away. That's going to be GG as Team 12 kicks off a